Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Dollar Store Diner. I'm Lance.
And I'm Steve.
And today we're going to be making enchiladas.
Woo! Mexican food.
Yeah, Mexican. So, I believe we're probably going to be making the sauce first. And after we make the sauce, we're going to put the enchiladas together. Because the sauce is probably the hardest part of this, right?
Probably cooking the meat and getting it done well.
You think so?
But it'll take a while for the sauce to simmer. Because you want to let the flavors develop, so it'll take a little bit.
Yeah, we are using a lot of powders in the sauce, and so it probably is more of a better idea to start off with doing something like that. So we're probably going to have to start using things that are going to be spice-based for the sauces, because the sauce is, it's a ridiculous amount of things. So this is probably going to be the most difficult part of this, you think?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it'll probably take about a good 10 minutes to go through it, make it all flavorful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we're going to start with cilantro leaves,
Black pepper,
garlic powder,
cumin,
chili powder, because the biggest part of red chili is going to be the chili powder.
Yeah, that's going to add a lot of the flavor once it cooks. Tomato sauce,
Flour to thicken it up.
oil. Actually, a surprising amount of oil. You'll see.
It is quite a bit of oils, like crazy amounts. And last but not least, iodized sea salt. So we already have, and I'm sure everybody inside of their household probably has salt and pepper, and somewhere they probably have some kind of flour. So we're just going to use the salt and pepper and flour. We actually bought the flour. We're going to use the salt and pepper that we already had, and the cumin we already had.
Yeah, if you notice, some of the stuff was definitely not from Dollar Store, but we had some lying around.
And I mean, it's salt and pepper, and most of the time people already have salt and pepper. So, let's get to this. First thing we're going to do is get 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. Going to mix 2 tablespoons flour. Probably going to have to level it a little bit because flour comes out in chunks. A 1/4 tablespoon of chili powder. We're going to take 8 ounces of tomato sauce and we're going to pour it in there. Get it all even so that it mixes in perfectly with all the different flavors. I'm going to put in 1/4 tablespoon of cumin. We're going to add 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. And then we're going to add just a little bit of salt for taste. Then we're going to add a dash of black pepper. But because we have so much pepper in it already, we're probably not going to want to use too much of it. So we're going to put it right on the stove. We're going to turn our stove up to 6. So that we can cook it for 10 minutes. Now we're going to get started on the actual enchiladas. So, in order to make the enchiladas that are on the inside, we're going to have to use meat, chicken, beef, I figure we're probably going to end up doing like about 3 different kinds of enchiladas, right?
Yeah, meat, chicken, and cheese.
Meat, chicken, and cheese.
Yep.
The cheese one, I do believe we're probably going to be using refried beans on the inside of it. Because we're kind of experimenting with that idea, right?
Yeah.
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 So, we've got the refried beans.
Cheese, of course. Mexican blend.
We have our corn tortillas.
Jalapenos, just kind of put on as you desire.
We're going to be getting some chipotle peppers because we're going to be mixing it in with the beef stir fry that we have.
Chopped chives, put on top, if you like.
We have some beef skillet mix that we're going to be using on the inside of the enchiladas.
Surprisingly, $1 as well.
Yeah, they are $1.
And bacon wrapped chopped chicken fillet.
So, once we get done with it, we're probably going to top it off with some jalapeno slices.
And the chopped chives.
So, let's get to making the actual enchiladas now. We're going to be cutting some chipotle pepper up to put on the inside of the beef.
Probably just going to start with one.
Now remember, you don't want to cut a lot of these because chipotle pepper is pretty spicy. And if you don't like spicy things, Steve is chopping it up very, very small. When we make the chicken, we're going to put it in some jalapenos. That way the chicken will have a little bit of a kick. Alright, get your chicken unwrapped. And get it nice and prepped. Chop the chicken down as much as possible because we're going to be putting it on the inside of the enchiladas. We're going to be putting the meat in the skillet after we heat the skillet up. Skillet temperature is going to be at 8. We're going to add a few spices into it. We're going to add a little bit of chili powder, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of black pepper. Then we're going to put in some cumin. And a little bit more chili powder. Gotta stir it all up and get all the flavors together. Once the beef is done, put it into a cup, maybe a bowl. That way we can move on to the chicken. Put the chicken into the pan. Then add the jalapenos. Woo! That pepper smoke. Just like the beef, we're going to put the chicken into the bowl. Now we're going to get started on the beans. In the same skillet, put your beans down. You got to warm them up before we use them. That way they'll be nice and soft when we put them into the enchiladas. Gonna add a little bit of chili powder, a little bit of cumin, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of garlic, and then we're going to stir it all up to get all those flavors together. Once again, we're going to take the beans, we're going to put it into a bowl. All in preparation for making the enchiladas. We're going to go ahead and preheat the oven to 450 degrees. We're going to put the corn tortillas in the microwave for 10 seconds to make sure that they're nice and warm. Because if corn tortillas aren't warm, they tend to fall apart. So we're going to be putting down the corn tortillas first. In each corn tortilla, we're going to be putting about 2 scoops of all the ingredients into it. First, we're going to do beef. Make sure you're holding them because they will fall apart really easily. Corn tortillas are not known to be very stable. Remember, any excess you've got left, just put it right on the top of it. So once we finish it off, we're gonna cover it all in sauce. Then we're gonna put cheese all over the top of it. Making sure that this is gonna be nice and melty. At the oven 450 degrees, we're gonna put them in for 15 minutes. After about 25 minutes, we're going to take the enchiladas out of the oven. Gonna add a little bit of cilantro. Then we're going to add some jalapenos on the top, just for presentation purposes. So we're going to serve up the enchiladas on a plate. I mean, obviously we're not going to put it in a bowl, right? Way to go, Lance. Alright, now we got the enchiladas done. So, let's give them a taste.
Hot.
Very hot. Those actually came out pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like these. Yeah.
The sauce is the best part.
Yeah.
I think we did that sauce perfectly.
One thing about Dollar Store cheese, though, it doesn't melt quite as good.
Yeah, as you can see, it's just kind of sitting there. So make sure you're not basing all of your baking on the cheese, because it just doesn't really melt. Altogether though, that's not half bad.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a success.
So, this has been another Dollar Store Diner, and we just made enchiladas. You guys, I will see you later.
Bye.